Another weekend nears its close and another championship Sunday on the horizon here on the LPGA Tour of Korea as we say hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the tour. Great to have you aboard. The weather back in Incheon, well, it is as expected. A cloudy, overcast day with some rain in the forecast over the course of the next couple of hours. It certainly played a role in the home stretch yesterday. Might see some in about 2 hours time. Might just be able to squeeze in the final groups before the skies open up. But the forecast, well, as it has been and as it was yesterday, hasn't always been consistent. What has been consistent is the excellent golf on display for you. A true exhibition the final week before we head to the midway mark in this 2022 LPGA Tour of Korea season. 11 under is currently the score to beat, and there are 3 players at it. Seoul is one of them. She is 4 under today, looking to take the outright lead a couple of holes further forward than the rest of the challenging fields. So as the home stretch picks up, she will be trying to put some of that room up early. Won't be here on 11 as that curls away and comes up short. Now Cho Ayon, she is 9 under, 2 back today. That is just 1 under for the round as she nears the turn. Zips back towards the front left side of the green. Another nice approach. 72 yesterday for some of the chasing pack. Cho Ayon, she was 69 in that second rounder for a 67 opener. And that 72 had belonged to Chegarem. Her third from a nice spot on the fairway. Right at the pin and stops on a dime. Right at the stick, and that should be an easy birdie to pick up another. She's had a very good round in progress, just the 1 bogey at number 7. Now Lee Jae-young cooled off yesterday, but a 63 in round number 1 is where she did the bulk of her heavy lifting. Still only just 1 under today, and at some point, if she wants to truly contend for this title, she's going to have to pick up a few more strokes to the good. A little far out on that particular approach, more to the center than the front of the green where she would have wanted to be. On to 10 with Hung Jung-mi. Anticipating a lot of break. Comes a couple of seconds too late. Ends up directly opposite the cup, but it will be par rather than the bogey, or excuse me, the birdie she would have been hoping for. Over the tee at 14, 6 iron for Yoo Hae-ran. She is the top player in the field this week here in Korea, with the absence of Bang Min-ji at the Evian Championship in France. The aforementioned Bang Min-ji in a tie for 22nd, progressively cooling off after an opening round 67 to sit close to the Canadian, Brooke Henderson, who continues to lead that event. So Yoo So-yeon in second. So keeping an eye on 2 tournaments, I'm sure as many golf fans in this country are. Ji-han Seoul power walks off the green after her birdie. This is at number 12, and look at the minimal distance remaining after a brilliant 82-meter approach. This will be one of the most satisfying feelings in the sport, as there is just 1 meter to go. Park Ji-young playing for par. Six holes to go in her final round, and still within 1. 4 under round currently in progress. That would equal her performance on Friday, just a 70 yesterday. Similar short distance putt, however, this one is for birdie. And to within 2 now, Chegarem. Starting its way back online. This has a chance. It's in. E.J. Young finishes the front nine with another birdie. Absolutely brilliant, low percentage effort that she makes look easy. She can turn up the pace in the final round. She will still have an opportunity here to claim her maiden victory. She's been steadily climbing as she spends more and more time on the top flight in Korea. 601st in the world after her tie for 35th finish last week. Lands with a thud just shy of pin high, more to the right than the left where she would have been aiming for at number 17. Back to 9, the par 5, Choayan. Little left to right, on its way back to the middle of your screen, and in the middle of the cup as well. So back-to-back birdies for her to finish out the midway mark of her final round. We are a long way from the finish line, but it does feel like we might just be on for a playoff here unless someone can grab this tournament by the scruff of the neck and take it with them. This 21st group, who were the final, to tee off on the first hole this morning at 10:40. It's about 2.5 hours later. Right on the pace of play. Hanshin Sun. Should have been where she finished her round yesterday under a torrential downpour. Very different today as she is battling in the final group on the day. Pulls this one.
플레이하겠습니다.
Really taking her time over top of that putt. Wanted to leave little to no doubt that she would be able to find her par. And it is her group mate that climbs back into the outright lead with only 9 holes to play. So we go to 12. Tee shot following the birdie, finds the rough. It's 155 meters and 11 meters to climb up onto the green here. Only stays on the putting surface momentarily as she hands rolled to the back. It'll be a little wedge back up. Tiyuhei ran at 14, putting from the fringe for a bird to take her into time for 4th with Park Ji-young and Choayan. Started left and then quickly serpentine back away from the hole. So she will stay steady at 9 under. Another slow start to this tournament. 70 in round 1, 69 in round 2. She's on pace for a 68 today. Joyon lands, excuse me, with a loud bounce in the middle of the fairway, announcing her fantastic tee shot. It's a bit cooler in that front nine. Birdies 4, 8, and 9, and a bogey at 5. Round 1, she was slightly above for season-long driving distance. Round 2, slightly below. Yesterday, especially as the winds began to whip around, she found some struggles with driver. Bogey-free front 9 for Han-Chin Sung. 9 for 14 precisely in each of the first 2 rounds off the tee. Has a miss here to the right towards the bunker, but comfortably away from it. .72 meters for Jung Mi. Must have been averaging only 3 meters after it lands. Narrowly outside of that tight range, but it is a nice approach. Back to 10, averaging 212 meters off the tee. Must be one of the best feelings to start the back 9, knowing that the tournament is yours to lose. The effort from the fringe south of the putting surface, nice and close. Tap in par 12. That'll work out well, landing in the center. It starts to drift back towards the left side. Be about an 8 meter to go. Now EA1, who has traded places with Unina for the top rookie in this event. She remains the best throughout the course of the season so far. Unina just even and stuck at 5 under. Young on the approach, 23 meters at the apex of that ball flight. Doesn't get any more roll after she lands on the front side of the green. Mostly straight downhill putt. Should come back to the left.
Nice.
Nicely done. Another birdie racked up today. That is a fifth. Rong Jung-mi, who had lost one of the spots she had made up with the bogey just a couple of holes ago, but back on the right track. And 125 for Han-Chin Sun at 10 out of the thick grass. Similar end result to her groupmate who had just played moments ago, front of this green. Needed to pantomime and hope for the best. I mean, Song, it is a fourth birdie today. Can't counter out of this just yet. Up and on from Choyan. Seoul straddling the tightrope all the way in. A narrow miss to the inside. Now Bakjiang at 13. To move to within one, gave it a really good go. By the slimmest of margins, it stays to the left of target. Ran. So up she goes as she tries to slowly but methodically climb her way back into contention. 3 under, barring a birdie, following that pretty good approach. As we look across the beautiful H1 club, hasn't had the clear skies and sun to illuminate it, but the fantastic landscaping and nature on display has still shone through despite no sun shining through. Quick break and then right back out to the field. This is Championship Sunday and the inaugural Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic. We find our featured group on 10, Han-Chin Sun 4. A chance to share the lead at 12 under. Too much back to the left. one more as she will be settling for a par. Now you hit ran after coming up just offline to the left on the approach. Trying to putt for birdie from a tight lie. We'll have to settle for par, just a short one, less than a meter long. Well, one down at 10, still 2 to go in the featured group. So close as it comes back. It looked awfully wide, but she definitely had a good read there. It's the difference of playing what is likely now her 4th round here of the week. Practice round the day before things got underway. Par for 12 under. See just how treacherous that can be with the thick rough around the sand. These greens may be big, but that doesn't always mean that it's easy to reach them. Nicely done. Cho Ayan, 3 consecutive birdies.
Nice kitty.
So about 6. Well, maybe even more than that. I thought it might be rolling in a bit closer at the par 3, but it stays off left from Jiang. Early stages in this back 9, an absolutely breathtaking, picturesque par 5 11th. It would be tough to go through this hole and not want to go down and check out the observatory. But you got to move on, you got to drive past it, and 215 meters from the tee where we find the first sand trap to the right side of the narrow fairway. It is a dog leg to the right, this 11th. Then after the first sand trap to the right, we'll have 2 to the left, 2 more guarding the right green, which is, of course, the one the field is playing this week. And the pin placement today in line with the bottom of that second green. 5 yards from the right edge. Can't be too close to the right, of course, with the sand in the rough, but also it will slope away from the pin. Jae-young is just going to miss this to the right side of the fairway. Decent effort overall, and I mean, she's still got about 90 minutes in a round, but I'm sure her brain is going a mile a minute, a constant battle to keep it focused on what's ahead. Everyone is away cleanly from number 11, and while we wait for them to head down the fairway, we'll go one hole further forward with Chihan Seoul, 130 meters out from the fairway. Needs to get this up 9.9 meters. Well, she'll stay at the back, and we'll keep her opportunity for birdie in play. A little flop from behind the sand, pretty close to target, though it is an uphill punt with some break on it for sure. There she is, coming around the other side of the sand. Well, that's about as great as you can ask for. Pretty well pin high and within 3.5 meters for a bird. See the sky getting a little bit more ominous over the tree line. Jae-young missing off the tee and missing again as she goes rough to rough, looking down at the hybrid for some answers as she hands it back to her caddy. Sun out of the sand. Best case scenario, she is able to get a bit of a fade on this. Will work out pretty well from the lie she was in. Still 236 to make up for Cho Ayeon, ready for her second. Opportunity here to get to level with the leader struggles through the first two shots for her at the par 5. She will settle that in well to the left side. Big time putt. Slightly up the hill on the money for Che Ram. 9 under through 13. It's the slightest of misses to the outside of the cup, and frustrating to go half a kilometer on some holes. Not quite the case on 14, but still to work so hard shot after shot and and still need one that is just a few centimeters in distance. We go to 18. EA1, 8.8 meters up the hill. It would take her to 9 under. Not quite going to get it there. We'll settle for par, and she will be ecstatic with this day. She'll be disappointed with the first 2 days, no doubt about it. Only 1 under and 2 under in rounds 1 and 2 respectively, but 5 under today, up 21 spots. Similar story to Iga Young, and in a tie for 10th position. Still about 100 for the leader, out of the rough, and that's better. On a spin she's been able to concoct on these approach shots. It's kept her close more times than not, especially with so many of these greens playing fast and downsloping this weekend. To 12, Seoul. Downhill putt, being very mindful of the speed. She'll still have one of the best rounds you'd have to imagine when all is said and done, but she is letting these birdies slip away from her ever so slightly. Still has plenty of holes to play, but it's now 3 consecutive pars, just as she had started the round. Dropped it in expertly. Take a little bit more as she gets closer. Now Hung Jung Mi to get to 11 under. That rolls over top of the edge, teeters on the brink of falling in. But at the end, it would stay out, and that prevents her from a bird at number 12. Well, slowed down from 11 at the end of 3 consecutive birdies. She would bookmark that with a bogey before a run of pars, but still another great round towards the top 10 for the best rookie through 2022 as we near the midway mark. Joanne less than a meter away. That's a brilliant, expert approach. How many times you look at it, it stays just as sweet each and every time. It is just 1 shot of an advantage. EJ Young with Seoul, Choayan, Hanjin Son, 1 back though. The name in the middle of that. With the pink ball, we'll be picking up a birdie and moving to 12 under and putting the figurative and literal ball back in EJ Young's court. Back to the H1 Club, right after a quick break.
걸어오는구나, 그냥. 아, 짧았어. 짧았어.
보고 내려가자고?
Welcome back to round number 3. And Shinsun settling for a par at the 11th to keep her at 11 under. Everyone trying to keep pace with E.J. Young. Jaga Ram can get to within 1. It would require a long birdie at the par 3. Gave up on it pretty early. She had the best sense right away. Rocking back on her heels, trying to get it to pull inside. On this particular occasion, it did not want to obey, and as you can see in the foreground, the aforementioned unscheduled rain is making an appearance. Why not? At this rate, everybody might be needing to throw some rice or some warm, dry towels at whoever is able to come away with the victory. They'll already have the typical water bottle shower well and truly taken care of. Ijang looking up. Well, it was a brilliant approach to put herself in this position for a share of the lead. Starting it to the right of the cup, slightly uphill. Wasted opportunity from Cho Ayan. Did everything right in her typical setup, and just from inside of a meter, she can't get it to go. One of the most frustrating feelings in the sports, and an exhale, you'd imagine, from Lee Jae-young. Choi-yeon seemingly able to maintain some good spirits as she laughs that one off. Also a par for Lee Jae-young. It's a bit of a different feeling, I suppose, when you've already won 3 events in your career, as the former had done, including one this year at the 8th Kyochun Honey Ladies Open. Young, a win this year as well. Came real close last week, ultimately falling to the rookie. Just couldn't keep pace in what was a fast-paced and exciting final round. Now the birdie putt at 15. Catches some, but not enough. Well, everybody cooling off a touch now, especially with putter, and the rain is not going to assist that much. As we go to 16, Yuhei Ran. Flopped up and will just be able to climb up the rise. Not enough to stay on top of it, though. She will roll back towards the front of the green. First two holes of the back nine are in the books. Next up is the par 4 12th, another dog leg to the right. The 355 meter par 4. Almost an identical yardage to number 10, as will be the case at 13. 210 meters from the green, we find the first of the three pot bunkers, to the left of the fairway. From there, straightens out and will give you a clear look down at the right green with the pin placement today nearly at the exact back, 7 yards from the back of this green, 6 yards from the right. Will be nestled very much in that yellow patch. Hear the precipitation pelting Anshin Sun as she launches this drive. Definitely wanted that left side of the fairway for the straightest look down, but not quite that much. She does in the end find the second cut. To 16, Yuhei Ran. Frustrating one is she is unable to hold out. She did have still a lot to do. Choi Yan also looking left. She will just and only just stay in the fairway, but really with that stroke, she's going to need to make contact with the tall grass anyways. Mouth open, aghast look from Shi Hensel tells the story there, doesn't it? These narrow fairways are becoming increasingly more difficult to find. Everyone doing their best just to withstand the conditions at the moment. As we go to 13. 136 out for Hong Jung Mi from the fairway. Onto the green, that'll be a pretty good roll down.
Sure.
Might have worked on Friday, a little bit different today. Final hole and the final approach. So Yin Hee Jung saving one of her best shots for will be her second to last as she sets up a short putt. Undoubtedly a tricky one here as she'll be coming through the rough just slightly. Comes down on it well, seems to have picked it out fairly clean. Still leaving some to be desired on it at the end, though. Jinsun, similar position, though this firmly planted in the rough. She's going to get a nice roll down off the fringe, and that will set her up pretty well. Well, up and out of the very heavy sand at the moment from Chihan Seoul onto the green. Jae-young, 137 from the rough on the approach down to the 12th green. Another one that comes up well short. Only one of the three was able to find the putting surface. Pretty good putt as she comes to within a meter. She'll mark up and be needing to settle for a par though, Han Jung-mi. Still a 10 under with 5 to go. Chihan Seoul from out of the sand to what she was hoping would be into the cup. Not to be on this particular occasion. Choi on from off the back. This is a brilliant shot from the rough. Watch that straighten back out. Just runs out of steam at the end on its way to what would have been a near miraculous birdie. And Chihan Seoul, just a short tap in. Adventurous hole, no doubt about it. Back to 12 from in between the two greens. Jae-young stays to the inside, and that might roll all the way to the other fringe. Yes, it does. Remy Jung to finish off the tournament at 7 under. Brilliant approach. A 69 in the final round, matching what she did in round number 1, if not for a bit of a cooler day yesterday. Might have had herself in the race in this championship Sunday, but another good performance. Remy Jung, who still is just impressive to see her competing and keeping herself fit after a tough early part of her 2022. It will be 7-iron for Chihan Seoul as she tees off on the par 3 14th. 84% in these environments. She has absolutely dominated these short holes. Another good tee shot, gets pin high. Now from the border of the green, trying to save par is our leader. Otherwise, everyone who is struggling for birdies beneath her will be able to get to the top once again without doing any low scoring of their own. Second bogey of the round, the first since the third hole. After storming back to the top a couple of holes ago, it is once again a two-way tie for the top. As we go to 17, Yuhei Ran on the par 3, looking like she's got a shot here. Beyond impressive from the opposite side of the green, erases that bogey at 16. 4 birdies, an eagle, and 2 bogeys in the round. She is now up at 9 under and a tie for 7th position. No longer are these short putts automatic by any stretch. Didn't think this particular one would be adding that list, but it will be a bogey for Han-Jin Sunj. That drops her out of what would have been a share of the lead. She's battling the mental game right now as much as she is the course and the weather. You can see the emotions pour out. She knows what an opportunity this is. Another player in the fight for her first career victory. She has one T2, two T2s, excuse me, the last couple of years, both coming in 2018. We had narrowed the leaderboard down to 4 just about 20 minutes ago. All of a sudden, there are 6 names on the list, including Cho Ayun and Lee Jae-young in a share of the lead, and then 4 more at 10 under, including Park Ji-young, getting ready for her third at 16, 114 meters out of the somewhat genteel rough and up onto the green. She went pin seeking, but will carry a little bit too much pace. Probably wanted that to fall 4 yards shy of where it did.
샷.
One bounce from the fairway and into the rough towards the cart path down the left. Off the tee from Cho Ayun. Back to our featured group in a moment, but first, checking in with Hung Jung Mi. Birdie at 14 would take her to what would become a 5-way tie for the second best score. Stays inside, however.
언니 저 피니시 먼저 할게요.
Salvage a par at 14. With the exception of Choyeon, this is another weekend where some new young faces are really stealing the limelight, especially Lee Jae-young. Back-to-back birdies here at the par 4 13th. Will be looking for another to try and take the lead back, but she is not overly impressed with that tee shot as she has missed the fairway in a big way. As that draws away and into the thick, heavy, damp grass. After missing a very, very short putt at the last, this will be about as much of a mental hole as it will be a physical hole. Han Jin-sun just needs to put it behind her. She did birdie here on Friday. That looks more like it. Oh, Rocket with not much room for error. She makes it look easy. A nice on from Yunina, as we see here for the first time. Took us into the second hour, and that's usually an indication that the final round is not going your way. On to the par 3 14th. Chien Seoul for birdie, currently in a tie for third position. A little right to left, back on line, but it dives away. Missing at the last moment. So a 3-under round in progress today through 12 from Choyeon. Has her technically at the top. She shares that spot with Lee Jae-young, Park Ji-young, Hung Jung-mi, Chi Han-sol, and Jin-sun in the four-way tie for 10 under, and then plenty at 9 under. Anything could happen in this final round, the way things are going, the way the weather is not cooperating, and what that means for the neutral observer. Hopefully from somewhere dry as you take in this event, it should be an exciting race to the finish line. We're through 1 hour, still an hour and a bit to go before we crown a champion here at the H1 Club. Back right after this.
호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식 대회에 참석하신 모든 선수 여러분, 그리고 골프를 사랑하는 골프팬 여러분 안녕하십니까? 호반건설 박철희 사장입니다. 먼저 여러분의 성원과 관심 속에 호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식 대회를 개최하게 된 것을 무한한 영광과 기쁨으로 생각합니다. 특히 이번 대회가 최근 새롭게 단장한 명문 H형 클럽에서 개최하게 된 것을 더욱 뜻깊게 생각하며 이번 대회를 위해 힘써주신 KLPGA 및 골프장 관계자 여러분께 깊은 감사의 말씀드립니다. 저희 호반과 서울신문에서는 이번 대회에 참가한 선수 여러분 모두가 최고의 기량을 펼칠 수 있도록 최적의 대회 환경을 준비하였으며 KLPGA 또한 원활한 경기 운영을 위해 세심한 부분 하나까지도 유심히 살펴 대회를 철저히 준비하였습니다. 저는 이번 대회가 이러한 최적의 경기권과 참가 선수들의 뛰어난 실력이 함께 잘 어울려져 명실상부한 국내 최고의 대회가 될 것이라 확신합니다. 고객으로부터 신뢰받고 사랑받는 기업, 파트너와 상생하고 사회적 책임을 다하는 기업 호반과 118년의 언론 역사, 디지털 미디어 시대를 선도해 나가는 서울신문은 앞으로도 건강한 대한민국의 골프 산업 발전을 위해 노력하겠습니다. 이번 대회에 출전한 모든 선수 여러분, 지금까지 갈고 닦은 실력을 마음껏 발휘하셔서 최상의 결과가 있기를 기대합니다. 감사합니다.
Well, don't let this rain fool you. The mood here is certainly not a damp one. It is Championship Sunday after all, and it is anyone's tournament still, with 5 or fewer holes to go for the remaining protagonists. 61 players had made the cut. Jae-young remains one of the top 2 of that reduced field, having started with 120 in this inaugural event. She plays her approach and is unable to get through the fringe. Choi-Yen also is not able to get up onto the green. It is a course that is playing very slow, very heavy at the moment, and it's taking a bit of a toll on everyone at the moment. Birdies will be a hot commodity. That was the effort for birdie once again. Didn't expect that one to be realistic, I'm sure, Park Ji-young. Well, the last two make their way with their second shots here. And Shin-sun and everyone trying to find some comfort under the umbrellas will make their way down towards the green where everyone will be playing their next shots. Another approach this time. We have one that finds the green and slows down in a hurry, understandably. She's traded in the typical glove for the rain one. As we go to 18, Yunina at 6 under, trying to finish the tournament at 7 under. Didn't have enough of those today, unfortunately, for the rookie. Last week's champion, but 2 birdies in the final 4 holes. It is a 2 under round of 70, and she is quickly becoming a superstar on this tour. Tied for 14th as she exits the course. So we return to 15, a 96-meter approach for Jihan Seoul out of the rough. Lands that in the perfect spot. Birdie should be on. Ball needs to stop. It will be slightly uphill, but one she will be able to feel confident standing over. Now Cho Ae-yeon at 13. He's in contact with it. Needs to get a bit more to the left. Won't be birdie, but she'll be able to sustain this joint top score. Jae-young trying to dry off and clean off the club. She'll take the towel. This will set up pretty well. Oh, this is on line. If it had a bit more speed, it might have got there. She gave it a good run up the hill. From me, though, it just stays narrowly to the right. A tap-in par. 4 consecutive in a row now after 4 birdies on the front 9. Looks like we're in for another war of attrition on the way into the clubhouse. Be a share of the lead if Han Jin-sun can pull out here for birdie. In between the 2 ball markers, it just slows down at the end. She wears her emotions on her sleeve, this one. Able to get a commiserating smile out as she exits the green. Till she's feeling the weight of this moment. How desperate she is for her first title as well. And Jihan Seoul, the most recent effort to join the top. She had to share the lead when we came on the air. This one looks a little bit left and it stays there. Shakes her head in disbelief on that one. Jae-young cannot believe that one. Just a complete misread and a mishit to boot. The smiles on her socks are the only smiles she'll have at the moment, as she has back-to-back bogeys now. Drops out of the lead. Cho Ae-yeon just a short par. And she will be the sole person atop this leaderboard. She's able to hang on, and now with 5 to go, she is the only one standing above the rest. She's also been, without a doubt, the most even-keeled, never too high, never too low out on course. So let's get you updated after a volatile couple of minutes There are now 5 players tied at 10 under: Park Ji-young, Hang Jung-mi, Chi Han-so, Han Shin-sun, and now back down to even par where she was after 36 holes. Lee Jae-young with the score to beat remaining, 11 under, though there is now only one at the top of the leaderboard. We return to the course with the first of 2 par 3s on this back nine, and it is the leader to go first. Par and birdie on Friday and Saturday respectively, and she is going with the 6-iron. Moves away from the hole as continues to roll down the hill. Even if she were to be perfect 5 from 5 birdies on the way, and she would definitely have a go. And Jin Sun is next. Sounds good. She looks pretty confident with it. Starts down but can't carry enough speed to the slope. Momentary breakout to 17 with Park Ji-young. Also the par 3. From the fringe, trying to get it in close, doing a pretty good job of that. That's the tee up to the 15th, Lee Jae-young. Just to the outside of Jo-yeon's ball, but a similar depth on the green. This is Yoo-hae Ran. Bends away to the right. Just a few centimeters still to go. Stays out, and there will be no birdie to be had. Young, the par save at 17. This is the first time she has missed one of those this week. Picking a poor time to do it. Down to 9 under, her first bogey of the round, and it comes on the penultimate hole. Just a little bit too much power at the end, preventing her from holing out. And the Sunday red cannot get it done. It is 7.8 meters, but with the downhill playing like 7.2. Another opportunity to get back to the top. She's gonna have to take advantage of one of these at some point. If she wants a chance, she stands up, she knows that's left. Needs to slow down, but I don't think it's going to be able to before the fringe. Now Lee Jae-young. This will give us a pretty good idea of what Chae Ream's putt will do in a moment. The break comes very close, about a tight 1 meter radius around the cup.
우선 좀요.
Surely from there she'll be able to find par. Gonna have to keep herself close to the top. So we go to 16. Jung Mi, it's 138 meters, decent lie in the fairway. Takes a solid bite out of the green, healthy divot, slows it up. Now 6.3 Choi on. This also looks right. No, comes back online in time. Now she is starting to build a lead. It is the 5th birdie of the day. That's the luxury of keeping yourself on the line the whole way. She will have seen that break several times this week. Well, it will be a 3-hole, 3-stroke swing if this is bogey. Par alone will keep her 2 back. Must make to keep herself in the hunt at this point. Important putt under some pressure. She still needs to have that pendulum swing back in her favor. It's out of her hands now if Choi-Yeon is able to find 2 birdies in the final 4 holes. No one will be able to catch her. Keeps herself within 2. Still, as they exit, it has a whole different feeling now, doesn't it? The 335 meter par 4 15th. To play, 2 strokes is the advantage. Choi-Yeon after another birdie, the first to tee off, and you look back at her performance so far this week in this stretch. Just 1 birdie, that was at the par 5 16th in round number 1. On the back of a couple of pars, Hun-Chin Sun is next. Birdie here in the first 2 rounds. Right, at least 1 on the way in. Why not here? Lands it right, starts to move back towards the fairway, but will get hung up in the grass of a much taller cut than the very well-groomed fairway. I feel like you don't need nearly as many sprinkler systems or a less intense version in the mountains with the unpredictable weather. When the flag comes up, that's not a good sign. It is under the canopy of the tree, and she is playing herself right out of this. Saw some cracks in her game yesterday in that 71. 8 strokes closer to par than she was in round number 1. She is still even today. Nothing will be able to take away from what she did in round 1. Still the tournament record for a single round. And that's why these tournaments are played over multiple days, multiple rounds. She will play her provisional. Well, much better fairway, in fact. She will go on a quick hunt, but I don't know she will be coming up with much success there. She needs to have a good look. The penalty probably officially extinguishes her flame that has been burning up the leaderboard. Cho Ayeon now 2 strokes to the clear on the 15th. Sung, Pak Ji-young on their final holes. You can count them out of it now, and really it's down to 5. But everyone's got their eyes fixated on Cho Ayeon here as we are about an hour away from figuring out who's going to win this thing. The inaugural Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic. Well, that was a look at the top 8 in the Alapazzi's point standings. Yuhei Ran, Peng Minji, Chi Han Sol, Park Ji-young, EA1, Lee Ga-young, Song Ga-eun, and Kim Soo-ji in order. Chi Han Sol, who is just listed in the podium position, putting from the fringe, tailing away towards the end. Mentioned Song Ga-eun's name up 2 spots to 7 this week. Those who missed the news, she was disqualified after round 1 for the illegal use of a complex rangefinder that showed distance and altitude. It was an accident. She tried to disable it, still getting customized to the new piece of kit, but she self-reported it to the officials, and they deemed that it was a violation of the tournament and took her out as a result. But it was good to see the young woman, still just 22 years of age, do the self-reporting and living up to the mantra, if you're not sure, just ask.
볼을 찾으실지 이제 선택해 주세요.
The hunt for Lee Jae-young's ball continues as they look down the stretch. Even if they find it, I don't think
여기서 여기까지 꺼낼 수만 있으면
to climb
한타임에서
down the valley, but she
꺼낼
knows
수가
that her
없을 것
tournament is
같아요.
pretty well at stake here. She
이건
did hit the
아니다.
provisional.
바로 앞에 있는 건 아니야.
네.
바로 앞에 있는 건 아닐 것 같아.
이거 좀
Well, they can look at it for 15 minutes, even if they find it. I don't know how she recovers. In the meantime, Jin Sun has been given the green light to play her next shot. Able to get herself up onto the green, just on the front left. Left side is where she needed to be. Two meters for birdie. To move within 1. Too much pace as that catches the inside edge and shoots right back out. It was a golden opportunity for Hung Jung-mi. Further beyond pin high. She's doing her job right now while the rest struggle to try and keep pace. Chi Han Sol, one of them. She came close to a birdie, but she has this remaining for par at 16. 1 hole further down on course, and she's able to secure it. 2 strokes remains her gap with only 2 holes to play. This is on 18. 205 meters off the tee towards the left of the narrow fairway. 122 remain for Park Ji-young. Best shots at the last moment. There is a world where she finds a bird and everyone else bogeys above her. Min Sung will be next, setting up pretty well in the rough in between the fairway and the sand trap. Just about an eagle. Would have been one of the shots of the day had she holed out from that lie. That is brilliantly played. You're seeing fewer and fewer groups out there right now, down to the final 4 holes, a momentary pause at 15. Wow. Lee Jae-young looks for her ball. She's still unable to find it. Likely bogeying and taking herself off the front page of the leaderboard as it remains Cho Ae-yeon's tournament to lose. Sometimes the golf gods are just not quite on your side, and that appears to be the case for Han Sun this week. As another putt comes centimeters away, will not go down for a birdie. Same cannot be said for Ha-Min Sung, who finishes with her 5th of the day, 10 under, after a brilliant approach shot from the rough at number 18. That moves her into a tie for 2nd as she finishes her 3rd round with a consecutive 67. This is Cho Ayan. It is probably a little too much to ask for a birdie. Gave it a good go. Brushes by the outside right. She'll tap in for a par and we'll head to the par 5 16th. The final par 5 of her tournament. And she will still be the leader by 2 strokes. Keeping it relaxed and composed. And now Park Ji-young at 18, also to get to 10 under, but she pushes this one. So she will stay level with Yoo-Hae Ran and likely Lee Jae-young, who we have yet to see finish off with the bogey. We'll get back to 15 in a moment, but first to 17, 7 iron. This is Hung Jung-mi. Bogey here in round 1, birdie here yesterday. Law of averages would tell you that a par is in store today. It's stuck on the fringe. What a putt that is to save a bogey. Could have very easily been a double, but that is the 4th of the day. That takes her to 1 over for this 3rd round. She had sold the tee shot at the par 3, lands pin high, nice and close. The soft green absorbs most of that bounce. Now Han Sun. Little right to left action here, and she has her par. Let's tap in for a 69. 68, 70, 69 is her combined round by round scores, excuse me, for a combined finish of 207 and 9 under. Has her in a tie for 7th as Cho Ayan is ready to tee off on 16. Birdie round 1. This is the only time she has birdied in this 15, 16, 17, 18 stretch this week. Doesn't even need to watch that one land. She knew it was a good one. Scores are updated on the leaderboard. Just on the cart path as Shin Sun is next. Averaging 222 meters thus far. If she can hang on for runner-up position. Starting to feel like that might be the best she can ask with the way this final round is going. It would be the third time in her career she has finished as the runner-up or joint runner-up. Look at this effort, by the way, on 17. Jung-min down and very close. It'll be a tap-in par. Still at 4 under for the day. She'll be able to secure that with the short putt when it is time. Just one bogey that came back at number 9, the par 5. She put together a 6, but definitely on pace for her best of the week. Only 3 combined bogeys all tournament long thus far. She and Seoul also in this group, 1 bogey today. Bogey-free round yesterday of a 68. And 1 bogey in Friday's action. Lee Jae-young's driver continues to let her down. Stays away from the trees this time, but 350 meters still to make up on this longest hole of the course. That's a much, much better second shot as she returns to the fairway. Second shot played as well for Han Jin-sun. We'll see Cho Ayan in a moment, but in the interim, over to 17, Chi-Han Seoul for birdie and outright possession of second place. That is right of target. Still stuck at 10 under. And it's a nice putt indeed. Agree with that assessment wholeheartedly. She would be just the second 2-time winner in this 2022 season if she can hang on for these final 3 holes. Lost that ball. The pink one doesn't quite stand out as well in the wet. She's playing loose, she's playing confident, and she knows that pars all the way in will probably be enough. That is pretty well what everyone is picking up right now, if not for Bogues. And this par for Chi-Han Seoul as she will head to the last. Struck hard enough. That is a disappointing way to end the round. Chaegao Ram. Self-inflicted wound that was. just centimeters off the putter and probably wants to sprint off this green after a disappointing one there. It's going to roll all the way from the middle of the green to the fringe at the back. Might stop just beyond, or just before it, excuse me. That's better from Lee Young. Looks like this is hybrid out of the sand for Han Chin Sun. Lands on the right green first, and will stay in the thicker stretch of grass between the two putting surfaces. Jung Mi teeing off for the final time today. Now Cho Ayan, not only would she become just the second repeat winner this season, she'd be the first non-wire-to-wire winner since the BC Card Hanggyang Ladies Cup, which Wang Minji was able to win back in late June.
Shot.
That is nicely played from Jihan Seoul. Final swing of her driver today, barring a monumental collapse from Cho Ayan, which would then necessitate what could be a 5-person playoff at this rate, if not 6, depending on how everyone else finishes up their rounds. It is a comfortable advantage through 2 strokes at the 16th. Cho Ayan in the driver's seat on Championship Sunday here at the H1 Club. Back out to 16, Cho Ayeon playing her fourth from the fringe, needs to hit the brakes. It's 3 meters out. Shouldn't trouble her, but every putt is especially compounded in these moments. Heading right to the back, and camera crew wasn't quite prepared for that one from Jihan Seoul. All the way to the back left of the green. Here's Jin Sun, who will finish up almost an identical position, but another foot further away from the pin. Jung-mi from the fairway, wanting this to be a bit more to the right. Somewhere in between that and Jihan Seoul is an eagle. She is on, she is putting, and she is in good spirits. So close as it just comes shy. Would have been too little too late, I think, for Lee Jae-young anyways. But it would have felt a whole lot better, no doubt about it. 2 to go, 9 under, 3 back after the bogey at the last. But finally, the run of bogeys on the bounce has been snapped. Another one where we'll get a pretty good idea of what this line will do for Cho Ayeon. Jin Sun has been in the top 5 in putting this week. Converting when they matter the most. It has been a bit of a different story today. It's a right to left, and that is too quick. It is also not quite enough to the right. So that is the second bogey of the back 9. And she is just 1 under for the day as she heads to the tee at the par 3. We've cleared the cameras and cables out from Jihan Seoul so she can play her next. She would have needed that chip in to give herself any chance at a theoretical playoff. Now, Cho Ayeon, we know that this needs to be a little bit above the hole, not much, as she putts for par. Looks better. No, didn't give herself enough to the top. Just like we saw with the last putt, needed a little bit more to the right of target. She bogeys, and suddenly things feel a whole lot tighter. We know Jihan Seoul isn't going to be able to catch, but, and that is a big asterisk, if Hung Jung-mi has a birdie here, she still has a chance. is not going to be able to find it. So she will par to finish. Also at 206, Chi Han-sul will do the same. And now she needs a bogey in one of the final 2 holes from Cho Ayan, and maybe we still might need a playoff. Pretty uneventful back 9 relative to how good she was on the front. She had 5 birdies all day long, just a 1 bogey at number 9. Now Chi Han-sul still with plenty to do. How many times today have we seen those edging putts? So a 70 in her 3rd and final round. That takes her out of even playoff contention. She's level with Yue Ran, Shega Ram, Park Ji-young, and Lee Jae-young in the final group. So now we can narrow it down to 3, and the players there in the clubhouse, and it is all on Cho Ayan from here on out as we take a look at this 17th. It is just a short par 3. Short relative to the other holes on course, but long compared to the other par 3s that they will face. It's 20 meters of a drop down the hill from the tee blocks to the putting surface. And the pin placement today, 15 yards off the front. That is pretty much the exact middle in terms of the depth, and 8 yards from the left. And some slopes all around the flagstick location today. And par 5s are done now. She is 4 under this week on these par 3s. And it is nearly completely silent on the tee for the leader. Back-to-back pars, as she has done so often, and these final 2 holes should be enough to secure the championship. A birdie, well, it would be all but guaranteed. She needs consecutive birdies to give herself any chance, and she needs Cho Ayan above her not to have any more. 5 iron. Good tee shot, can still put a bit of pressure on the pole sitter, but it would be her first birdie here all week. She does exactly what she needs to do. Now she needs the putter to get on board. Back to 18 from a tricky patch of rough and not being able to get out of the 3rd cut. Well, we're down to about 20 minutes from figuring out if Cho Ayan will be able to win this outright or if we will need a playoff. and the potential playoff participants are dwindling as we get closer and closer to the finish line. We'll head back to the 17th here at the H1 Club right after a short break. We have arrived at and around the 17th green. The gallery making way for Lee Jae-young, who has not been able to land it on the green from the tee. Still getting the final preparations ready for that putt in the interim. Let's go to 18, ENG. Slows up pretty well. Nearly was able to hold that thing out. She is 3 over for the day. Disappointing one after back-to-back rounds of 68. Even if she was even, She would be inside of the top 10, at least in a tie for it. Another 68, and well, she would have at this rate won this event. Sometimes the game just doesn't want to go your way, as we've seen a few times this week. Cho Ayeon is ready. It is an 8-meter downhill putt for birdie to put 2 strokes between she and the next closest 2 competitors to her. After a bogey at the last, she has a birdie at 17 for the first time all week. An immense amount of weight just lifted off her shoulder. It would take a complete and utter collapse on 18 for her not to be the victor of this tournament. This could be the putt that won it for a second win in 2022. Absolutely brilliant under the pressure. And you are really seeing the difference of someone who has gotten all the way to the finish line and won, not just this year, but a few more times in the past as well. The others who were searching for their first win just couldn't keep up under the pressure in the difficult conditions. I think she might be shopping for a new putter before the next event, unfortunately. It has let her down so many times today. So one club in your bag that you need to be dialed in to win tournaments. And unfortunately for Han Sun, she is still just down at 1 under par. Well, after all the fanfare, we still are waiting for Lee Jae-young to play this. It's tough to tell exactly what the holdup is here, because we don't have a view from in behind the shot, or at least directly at the ball on the slope. There's no path there, so they're looking for some kind of a man-made reason why it wouldn't be able to be played as it lies. We have to compete for vantage points with the supporters live at the venue, of course, as well. So this doesn't offer us anything new, unfortunately. The drivers come out of the bag to take the 1 club's length difference. This is not inconsequential, by the way. There's quite the drop-off. That's a better look. I don't know if there's a sprinkler head or something underneath it there at this point. I'll be honest, we'd just be guessing at what it could potentially be. There's 180 million up for grabs for the champion. And then there's quite the drop-off. And that is not insignificant for someone who is outside of the top 100 in the money list this season. If she bogeys again, whether it's here, whether it's at 18, it would take her to 9th in the list, and that is, well, $20 million, or 20 million excuse me, to 50 or 80, depending on how these final holes go.
아, 거리
And of course, it's just classification, it's points, it's not all about the financials, but as we said, this isn't a Sunday round where you just move about with you and your mates. Everything is done to the procedure, making sure everything is correct. And now that she's got it sorted, she is ready to play her second. Bent lead leg here. She gets underneath it. And we'll have that remaining 4 apart. Not going to be easy there. She is, however, guaranteed to have her best ever finish on the senior tour. She had tied for second in 2021 on the Dream Tour at the Phoenix Country Club. Her best result this season, tied for 25th, or 35th, excuse me, that was last week. She was tied for 46th. The 36th Korea Women's Open Golf Championship presented by DB Group. And only one other top 50 also this season at the 10th E1 Charity Open.
플레이하겠습니다. 올라가시는 분들 잠시 멈춰주세요. 움직이지 말아주세요.
It's 5 meters as she tries to stay at 9 under. She's got it, big time putt. Saw so many of those on Friday, and it prevents her from a 5th bogey on the day. With no groups behind her, she's able to take her time, get it done right. She certainly had done that, and now she will go join the rest of her group at the tee.
네.
Just waiting to be given the green light, the go-ahead.
감사합니다.
잠시만요.
She is good to go. She hasn't been driving particularly well today. Only 46% in regulation, averaging 215 meters. She bogeys, she wins, she doubles, we go to a playoff. First shot is away, it has found the rough, and still looking like just any other day. Not that there is 180 million won and another title, and a historic one at that on the line.
굿샷. 이제? 이제?
화이팅!
Able to split the fairway almost perfectly down the middle. And well, there's no doubt she'll be disappointed that she wasn't able to get over the finish line today. There will be so many learnings in this, so much that she can take with her the rest of her career. So the next time she is faced with one of these positions, she'll be able to understand what might be coming her way just a little bit better. Maybe she'll be just a touch more prepared. The walk begins, the procession towards 18, and will be announced as they arrive, and the formal crowning will be had. We are fairly optimistic, fairly confident that the leaderboard won't change too drastically from where we are now. Some shortcuts as well, and the volunteers get to work just as they will be doing on the 18th green. Of course, we will have this final group, the 21st group today, finish off. The banners are being unfurled, the ropes are getting positioned, and after it's made official, these three will go down, they'll sign their scorecards. Cho Ayan, in all likelihood, will go to give the championship winning interview with the SBS golf team. We'll have final round highlights, and then of course the trophy presentation, as well as the checks and the other awards that go through the tournament, and quick touch up of the makeup, as she knows there will be lots of cameras and eyeballs on her when she makes the 18th green.
나 고양이, 거의 고양이 냄새, 어디서 고양이 냄새가 나지 않았어? 대구. 아, 맞지. 대구. 고양이 냄새니까 고양이 냄새 이래서.
It's been a really good season altogether for her. 16th in the money, 20th in the points. Only 2 missed cuts so far this season. Not quite as consistently inside the top 10 as she would have liked. Only twice she has been there. She's been the second best putter on tour all season, averaging 29.47 putts. Not the longest driver, not the most accurate, but a club that many would argue is the most important. Yours truly as well. She has been able to get it done. .132 meters to go from the rough. A bit of a daisy cutter, and it will just eke onto the green. So she is there in 2. And now if she can hold out within the next 3 putts, she will be the winner. Jaeyoung next to play. A little bit deeper onto the green.
잠시 멈춰주세요. 잠시만요. 멈춰주세요. 잠시만요.
Well, the last approach shot is up. It too is on the putting surface. Don't know that we'll see any birdies out of that trio.
넘어갔나? 왜냐면 좀 힘있게 바운드가 됐거든?
통통통 3바운드에 올라갔어.
Well, it's a great opportunity as you see the orange polos walking the rope closer to the green to shout out, thank, and congratulate the many volunteers and staffers this week and all weeks that make these events possible. And the brave and truly dedicated supporters who have withstood the elements all weekend long will be able to enjoy the celebration shortly as our featured group is being introduced down onto the 18th green.
끝까지 오르막. 얘 보이지? 네. 와야 되지 않을까?
조금 더 봐도 돼요?
여기까지 괜찮아 그러면. 와서 얘까지 와야 돼. 하겠습니다.
Listening in to the golfer caddy communication. Picked out their break point. Now it is up to Choi Yun to get it close. A birdie would be an unnecessary exclamation mark as she is 12.5 meters back. It's awfully close for someone who putts as well as she does. She should be able to par out even if she doesn't. But takes a two putt. This is still her title. She'll mark that ball off and allow her group mates to finish up their rounds. She's always expressive, always fun to watch. Gonna take a little bit more than that to knock Isomi off her balance, I think. It's always fun to see the relationships, how tight some of these players are. They spend so much time together for the good portion of their year, 36 events, and those are just the regulation events. But I digress. EJ Young, not the day she would have wanted. She can get back up to double digits under par. She is currently 1 over. Be a nice way to bookmark it, and it would take her into a tie for seconds. It is pushed astray.
가서 많이 넣긴 한데 그 전체적으로 볼일 봐야지. 아까 보면 좋은데?
Somebody forgot to turn their phone on silent. Happens to everybody. Party foul though. And now the 24-year-olds trying to finish off her round with the birdie. That is unfortunately fitting based on her day. So she finishes at 9 under. It is a tie for 4th position. That is the 5th time in her career she has been at that mark. Just couldn't put the putts together today. Now the 21-year-old to secure the best results of her young career. First time in the top 10 since the Dream Tour. Something she will remember. Lots of lessons to be learned. And 63 is still the course record. She goes 1 over in the final round. And she finishes in tie for 4th position. Two putts to make it official for the 22-year-olds. For a par and a tournament score of 12 under, and most importantly, officially, the first champion of the Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic, Cho Ayeon, the 4th title in her KLPGA Tour career. Congratulations. Well, it's cruel of Isomi to wait until the towel's been put on just to soak that too. Very well deserved indeed. A fantastic final round. 4 under as well as the second lowest round in terms of a score. There were a quartet of people who reached 5 under today, including Hamin Song in that birdie at the last. The most important bit, make sure that that scorecard stays dry. right angle. You got to get the banner in the back, you know. Yes, 2 fingers up for peace, but also for the number of titles she has won this season. This was the par putt to etch her name in the history books and secure a 180 million won check and a piece of LPGA Tour of Korea history that can't be taken away from her. Just the second winner, second 2-time winner, rather, in 2022. Some nice symmetry in that stat. Well, when should falter past Unina into 5th on the LPGA Tour of Korea money list this season. Do some quick math, 180 million from the 254 she had already collected this season. 430, so not quite up to Yuhei Ran, who will be getting a bit more of a injection as well in terms of her bank account after her final round today. She was battling it, no doubt about it today. Still would be able to muster up a tie for 4th finish, her best round of the tournament. Scorecards have been signed. More to be signed by the winner. We'll be curious to see if they do the week in, week out tradition of the awards on the green with the weather, or if they stay inside the clubhouse. They signed inside for a reason. As we take a look at the final leaderboard after 54 holes and 3 rounds of action. I already mentioned Ha-Min Song's round of 67 today. That is tied for the lowest. EA1 had a 5 under, as well as did Lee Ga-young. As you can see, both of those scores now on page 2 of the leaderboard. Kim Soo-ji was 3 under today, as was Imi Jung. Unina would get a birdie at the last to finish at 7 under and a tie for 15th. Yeon-se-rin, Yu So-yeon 2, Kim Min-ju, all with 71s today and a 6 under combined score. Well, she still has one more to win this year to catch up with Peng Min-ji, who found her first win this season, May 15th, the 2022 NH Investment and Securities Ladies Championship, when she defended that title. She would win again in June 12th. She was crowned champion of the Sultry and Queens Masters, and then her most recent on the 26th of June, about a month ago. Now, the BC Card Hanggyang Ladies Cup, which she won in a one-hole playoff over Park Ji-young. Going through all the winners from the very beginning, all the different titles we've had. This is event 16 this week. You have someone who's won 3, someone who has won 5. That is 11 different champions Chang Soo-yeon won the opener. The Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. Park Ji-young, the Medihil Hangugabo Championship. Yuhei Ran, the Nexon St. Nine Masters. Ki Ma-reem winning the first major of the year. Chris FNC, the 43rd KLPGA, 44th, KLPGA Championship. Choi-an, of course, the 8th Kyochun Honey Ladies Open. Just went through Peng Min-ji's wins. Hong Jung-min won the 2022 Doosan Match Play Championship. Chung Yoon-ji, the 10th E1 Charity Open in that 5-hole playoff. Sung Yoo-jin, the Lotte Open. Lee Mi-jung, the 36th Korea Women's Open Golf Championship. Im Jeannie, the Macau Mona Park Open with SBS Golf. Sung Gaon, the Tabo House Day Open. Yoon Na last week, and now Cho Ayan. Here she is on the green for her championship winning interview. Well, we will allow Cho Hae-yeon to get ready for the awards presentation, and in the interim, go through the final round highlights. We begin on the second with Lee Young and her approach shots. Down on the par 4, she would pick up her first birdie of the day, at that point taking her to 11 under par. And then move on to 4, Jihan Seoul from 84 meters out from the fairway. Up at the stick, a little backspin to keep it firmly in place. And set up the first of 3 birdies in a row, also on number 4. This was Hung Jung-mi. Straight and in as she picked up a stroke, her second birdie in the first 4 holes. Early in the round, still very much in contention at this point. Take her to 9 under par. Han Shin-sun, and then back on 5 for the second of 3 consecutive birdies. From the front right of the green to the bottom of the hole she would go, and then on 4, Cho Hae-yeon at 8 under at this point. A similar one off the fringe as she goes right to left, away from the ball mark, and in to pick up one of her first circles of the day. And the final of this fantastic run from Jihan Seoul. This was at number 6, also one from Hong Jung-mi. Navigating the downhill very well. Was on 5 to get to 10 under par. Han Shin-sun just enough the inside edge to keep it falling for birdie on 7. This would be the penultimate birdie of the round for Hong Jung-mi, who at that point had been faultless on 7. Still co-leader at this point, Lee Jae-young. Get a lovely roll to come 2.5 meters away. Tap in. We'll go to 8, chipping as Cho Hae-yeon on this par 3. And it would be the par 3, and we'll see it in just a minute or 2 here. That would help her win this tournament, but that is 2 full revolutions of the cup before going down for what was just her second birdie of the round. And then, as she neared the turn, and she saw up to 11 under at that point. This was the 11th, Park Ji-young. From 7.5 meters away, slowly tiptoeing, but surely staying in. On 9, another very tricky mid to long range putt, left to right and down to take her to 12 under par. Not to be outdone, and keeping pace, Cho Hae-yeon on the tightrope. The first hole after the turn, Cho Hae-yeon at this point 2 back of the lead. Another downhill putt, this one of the right to left variety. 3 consecutive birdies at that point. She would still have 2 more in the round. But on 13, this is where things started to come unglued. The first at number 12, she'd have another at 13. Meanwhile, Cho Hae-yeon was going on the opposite end of that trajectory. A 6.3 meter putt, 18% on average make. Let me rewrite that myself. Her 4th birdie since the bogey at number 5. Then on 18, Ha-min Sung from the rough. 4 consecutive pars, she gets this nearly to an eagle. Yue Ran would have an eagle at 11 on the day, as would Hyun Se-rin. On 17, we did have an ace. That came courtesy of Hong Jung-min. And then the miss on 16. Around the cup and popping back out, and things got a whole lot more interesting after that. We thought maybe, just maybe, a playoff would be required, but Cho Aeon eliminated any doubts that she was going to not be able to hang on with an impressive birdie at 17. She could have missed this putt and still won the tournament, but she finishes with the par, a round of 68, her second best round of the week. A 204 to become the inaugural Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic champion. And things just right on time have dried up. The clouds will behave, and we will head down to the awards ceremony now and begin with Hong Jung-min and her hole-in-one on 17.
약 1억 1,000만 원 상당의 숙박권이라고 하는데요. 네, 홍정민 선수 정말 축하합니다. 여러분 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 보내주시죠. 네, 4천만 원 상당의 숙박권이라고 합니다. 네, 다음은 코스 레코드 시상입니다. 부상으로 약 300만 원의 H1 클럽 라운드권이 수여되겠습니다. 초대 대회인 만큼 이번 대회에서 첫 코스 레코드 기록이 나왔는데요. 자, 어떤 선수가 기록했을지 확인해 보겠습니다. 이정호 총괄 부회장님께서 다시 한번 수고해 주시겠고요. 바로 발표하겠습니다. 호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식 영예의 첫 번째 코스 레코드 1라운드 63타를 기록한 이재영 선수입니다. 네, 첫 번째 코스 레코드라는 기록을 세우게 됐는데요. 이번 대회 내내 놀라운 활약을 보여줬습니다. 하반기 계속해서 활약을 기대해 보겠습니다. 네, 이재영 선수 축하드리고요. 네. 자, 이제 호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식 대망의 우승자 시상을 진행하겠습니다. 많은 분들의 관심과 응원 속에 탄생한 영광의 초대 챔피언 3라운드 총 204타 12언더파를 기록한 조아연 선수입니다. 자, 먼저 서울신문 곽태연 사장님께서 우승 자켓을 입혀주시겠습니다. 조아연 선수에게 정말 딱 맞는 자켓인데요. 네, 함께 사진 촬영하겠고요. 네, 다음은 호반그룹 김선규 회장님께서 스냅의 트로피를 전달해 주시겠습니다. 자, 이번 대회 트로피명은 기운 생동입니다. 본 트로피는 호남대 건축학과 겸임 교수인 조각가 김성식 작가님께서 태극 문양으로부터 상승되는 날개를 형상화해 현재 우리 민족 문화 중심의 도약과 한국 여자 골프 위상과 비전을 나타내는 큰 의미를 담고 있습니다. 정말 멋진 트로피인데요. 조아연 선수가 받게 됐고요. 네. 다음은 호반그룹 김대헌 기획총괄 사장님께서 우승상금 1억 8천만 원을 전달해 주시겠습니다. 네, 엄청난 상금의 주인공이 됐습니다. 네, 감사합니다. 자, 그리고 좀 특별한 순서인데요. 함께 배려하는 KLPGA 골프 문화 정착을 위해 KLPGA 투어 최초로 신설된 상입니다. 호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식 초대 챔피언의 1등 공신 3라운드 내내 선수 옆에서 함께 땀 흘리며 킹메이커 역할을 한 챔피언스 캐디 시상이 있겠습니다. 자, 시상에는 호반그룹 김대영 기획총괄 사장님께서 수고해 주시겠고요. 부상으로 현금 300만 원과 상패가 수여되겠습니다. 자, 오늘은 누구 선수의 캐디가 아닌 성함으로 호명해 드리겠습니다. 호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식 초대 챔피언스 캐디 김호영 캐디님 앞으로 나와주시기 바랍니다. 조아영 선수가 아까 인터뷰에서도 굉장히 캐디분의 말들이 굉장히 위안이 많이 됐다고 했는데요. 함께 호흡 맞춘 시간이 그렇게 길지 않다고 들었는데 이렇게 또 영광의 주인공이 됐습니다. 네, 여러분 챔피언스 캐디 김호영 캐디님께 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 다시 이어서 우승자 시상 계속해서 진행하겠습니다. 한국여자 프로골프협회 김순미 수석 부회장께서 축하의 꽃다발과 부상으로 프레드릭 콘스탄트 고급 시계를 전달해 주시겠습니다. 축하드립니다. 자, 마지막으로 모든 내빈분들과 우승자 함께 기념 촬영하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 모든 내빈분들은 가운데로 자리해 주시길 바라겠고요. 네, 다 함께 환하게 한번 웃어주시죠.
Well, fitting with the theme and color palette here at the Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic, a new orange sports coat for Cho Ayan, a check for 180 million won, a fantastic, gorgeous trophy, and a nice gesture as well with the Champions Caddy being presented as a part of the awards ceremony as well. Course record, of course, for Lee Jae-young and her fantastic 63 to open up the tournament in the hole-in-one. Also honored, as we mentioned, just to start that awards presentation. Well, that's going to wrap it up for a fantastic 3-day event. Hope to see this one stick around for the long term. H1 Club, despite the weather at times, was a fantastic host, and we will be taking a break, actually, a rare break on the LPGA Tour of Korea next week before we return for the Jeju Samdasu Masters at Elysian, Jeju. That will be not this upcoming week, but the following, and it will be the official midway mark of the 2022 season. We saw a handful of rookies and young top performers take to the course and delight us this week, but in the end, they could not keep pace with the final round performance of now a 4-time champion and a 2-time winner in 2022. A tournament score of 204 as she opened the tournament 5 under yesterday amongst the heavy conditions. The big bit of rain, a 3 under, and today 4 under for a 2-stroke win by the end of the weekend. 12 under par and the inaugural winner of the Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic, Cho Ayan. A thoroughly well-deserved performance for her. The supporters who stuck around, they were treated to a fantastic display in the final round and saw one of their heroes be crowned once again. A nice moment and nice picture to end the broadcast off. Well, a big thank you to our SBS Gulf and Spock crews for helping bring this English language broadcast of the LPGA Tour of Korea to you, the viewers, and we tip our caps to you as well. And thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your week off next week, but don't worry, we will be back very soon as we head south to Jeju to do this all over again at the LPGA Tour of Korea. I've been Adam Jenkins signing off from my Toronto, Ontario, Canada studios, wishing you all of the best. I hope you take good care, and we will talk to you real soon on the LPGA Tour of Korea. So long for now.